Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Messerschmitt 100 here, back with another tank review. Today it is the Matilda IV, Soviet Tier 5 premium tank. Now, first order of business. Whatever you do, do not eat macaroni with cheese. I swear to God, that thing could kill a fucking dinosaur. It's disgusting. Over to the tank, which is the main thing about this video. It would be strange if I had up-dwarf tanks, and that wouldn't be the case. Anyway, yes, this tank was supplied to the Soviet Union during World War II by the Lend-Lease agreement. That was to ship both material, tanks, vehicles, and supplies to Soviet Russia in exchange for intelligence. And it was, as it says here, 1,084 vehicles sent to the Soviet Union during the transport of Murmansk, which had one of the most enormous losses during World War II, thanks to German air attacks and the U-boats from the U-boat or submarine weapon in English. They had truly enormous losses. I can only think about how it must be if your ship is hit by torpedo. You had to jump into water, Arctic water, and try to survive. So many people died during those transports to get materials, tanks, and equipment to Soviet Russia. So many people died. Really, watch the documentary on this issue during the war. Really seriously, go on YouTube and watch this after you watch this review. So, let's go over to the tank itself. Here in War of Tanks, it got 610 hit points, which will last for quite a bit. The Churchill III, also sent to Soviet Union during the Lend-Lease, has 700 hit points, so it almost has the same hit point pool as a Churchill III. And the armor is actually places better than the KV-1. It has the same frontal armor, same side armor, and I think it has. Let's check at the tech tree. KV-1. Oh, sorry. No, 70, 70, 75 and 75 front and side, and 70 in the rear for the hull of KV-1, and 70 millimeters on the side on Matilda, and 55 in the rear. This tank, I call this the mini KV-1 for good reason, and the turret is 75 millimeters all around. Against Tier 5s, this thing will really hold its own, and a lot of shots are going to bounce off, except if you're faced with the German 88mm gun on the Panzerstaffel, I don't know the real name, the Panzerstaffel 4. So keep an eye out for those, because they're going to give you a headache. But most other shells will simply bounce off this tank, and it's quite cheap, so I actually recommend you buying this. Although it has serious problems as well. It has only a 274 horsepower engine for a almost 30-ton tank. It's really poor power to weight ratio, and that is reflected in its top speed at only 25 kilometers an hour. Traverse speed is actually a pretty good 35 degrees a second, and third traverse is also very good at 34 degrees a second. The view range is 350 meters and 507 meter signal range. Not good, but again, Russians always down the list when it comes to view range and signal range. Let's take a look at the gun. It is the 76mm ZIS 96. My fault. It's a 76mm gun, the Russian, which was standard on the Russian tanks. It is pretty much the same as the KV-220 gets. KV-220 got the CIS 5. I'm not going to compare them because they're different guns on different tanks. And well, yeah, it's a very, very healthy 16.15 rounds per minute, at which this thing reloads pretty fast. I believe 4 seconds it is, and average penetration though can be quite lacking against people who angle their armor. If you fire at an angled KV-1, you're going to bounce. If you're unlucky enough to face the KV-220, you are going to bounce from everywhere. Except if you aim at the turret. I will make an revisit the KV-220 because I don't have a replay on it during my review, but the review that is out on my channel will still be in the link in the description. So the Matilda IV, yeah, lacking penetration, but it gets a little bit better with APCR. Still, it can be quite lacking against heavily armored vehicles. And the damage is 110 damage on AP and armor piercing composite rigid, or APCR. High explosive, it is 156 damage, but again it has only a very, very poor 38 millimeters of penetration with HE. The accuracy can be quite lacking, but I find it good enough, and aiming time is a very good 1.7 second aiming time. This tank is slow moving. It cannot completely lead assaults on its own, but it can certainly be a valuable support for your for tanks of your team. The 76mm gun can be quite lacking though, because of damage and penetration. But still, a high roll you can take on a KV-220, or if you shoot it in its weak spots. This tank's weak spot is the commander's hatch in the top and the little driver port there. I believe it is a weak spot as well. Of course, in the back, shoot it in the back, you will penetrate this thing. But the turret is pretty strong, so in a hold down position with this tank, with only the turret showing, be a really small target to hit, as well as it's very well armored. A lot of people is going to hit, if they shoot directly from the front, they can hit the upper or lower sides, so it may just bounce off, or they may hit on this side of the turret and ricochet right off from the cheeks. Also, you see the front is also angled inwards. This will help with ricochet, and if you angle the tank like this, you almost guarantee that enemy shells will simply bounce right off. So try to angle the tank. The tracks can help with absorbing damage, but again, they're quite thin. I Artillery can give you a headache, but not so much that you need to worry about it. Yeah, my equipment. I have only a medium caliber tank and rammer on this tank, just to get the rate of fire up, because I find the aiming time is very good, so I want to increase my rate of fire, but then you can also attach improved ventilation. Normal consumables, repair kit, aid kit, and fire extinguisher. Commander's skills I have taken. Come on. Recon for the commander to increase the view range of the tank. Snapshot for the gunner. I just like to get my gun ready to fire as fast as possible, and repair for two others in case artillery fires at this tank, because it can be a prime target because of its armor. It is an average moneymaker at tier 5. You will never lose money on this in a battle in this tank, even disastrous. You will still get at least 1,000 credits worth, and for a good game, an average game, about 15,000. Let's see, in the replay I'm going to show you. I did team score. I did the second highest damage, highest XP though. Was a very well. Churchill, the enemy team had a quite bad day. Yeah, I really feel bad for him. But well done by the Churchill free with its. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good result for a Churchill free. Yeah, shots fired, hit 12, I penetrated all of them, but this was also against quite less armored targets. And here you can see, just with standard account, I got away with 26,000 credits and 10 gold because of the daily challenge, and quite a good amount of XP. Remember, this is 5 times experience bonus for first win of the day in the tank, so get quite a healthy amount, and also quite a healthy amount on the free experience as well. For researching tier 6 it is very good. For tier 7s you need something bigger. Then you can consider T44 85Ms, like this one. But yeah, Matilda tank. If you've driven the other Matildas or the Matilda Black Prince, you would know what I'm talking about. So yeah, is it worth it for the price Wargame puts it? I would say yes. It's pretty much worth it, and it's a very, very fun tank to drive. When you get really fast into its play style, after a couple of battles, at least I got really well known with this tank and learned how to use it relatively quickly. And it's a very good springboard to other premium tanks or other tanks in general. So yeah, I would recommend this vehicle. Now let's jump over to some gameplay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the review I had prepared. Starting off, driving towards the western flank with the M4 Sherman, and we will also get with us the T1. I really don't like tier 1s that, yeah, there you go, in the chat there. I really don't know why people are taking tier 1s into higher tier games. I mean, yeah, they got better camo values, but their guns are useless. I mean, even with premium ammo, their guns just won't go through a third of the armor. on most Tier 5 tanks. I don't know what's lagging out, so taking it to free cam. And we are meeting really no opposition on this flank. Still can't shoot at the Churchill or the B1 base. They are behind cover. There's absolutely nothing out there that stops us from moving up. T1 moves up, then I move up too. He is probably going to take the blunt of the impact anyway. Then he fires, seemingly just randomly. And we're about to spot enemies. Right about now. Yep, there you go. The Mother 2 has been spotted. And a Sexton 2 as well. He penetrates me. He hits me. Oh. Shit. Sorry. Hits me in the low plate. I don't manage to get the Sexton. Or the Sexton. But the others take care of both the Sexton and the Mother 2. Now I'm firing at the M4 Sherman, which is not concentrating at me. You can see that the accuracy is good enough, and you can also see the aiming time. It gets destroyed by the KV-1 with the 122mm howitzer. And that was the artillery. They're concentrating at me. But as you can see, I really haven't taken a lot of damage. And I don't think I got... There you go. Bounce from the Matilda Black Prince over there. The Panzerstaffel 4, I have to take him out because he has the 88mm gun. Now I'm simply changing fire between both of them, between the Guerilla and the Panzerstaffel. I really don't know what's called, its full name. And also destroy the artillery. So the artillery is out of action. So now it's just to hunt down the others. The KV-1 and Panzer IV-D has climbed up our flank, but the artillery destroys the Sturmgeschütz 4 with a fire with a shot through open sights or direct fire. There's really nothing else happening now in this battle. Our team is starting to cap. Yeah, I hope they wouldn't be capping, but they do. And there's plans for the... But I don't manage to shoot at him. Well, that was the replay and review for today of the Russian Tier 5 Premium Matilda. As you can see, it's a very good tank, and if you get into a situation like this, you're quite well off, because you have a decent gun, you have really good armor, and you're in the right situations. You can do an enormous amount of damage, as you saw in the stats I pulled up before. That was all for today, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your ammo dry, barrel clean, and see you on the battlefield. If you want to see more of tanks content, or my content in general, then subscribe to my channel. And if you like what you saw here, then please click on the like button, and also give me some comments on how you think this tank is, if you own it, if you want this tank now, and maybe if you have something to add that I forgot to put in my review, then please feel free to engage in the comments. I really want to see more action developing up there, especially for my Tetrach review. or angry review, I got 1 dislike, but the person that disliked it hasn't left any comments, so I really don't know what he wanted. What else he wanted, then please leave a comment so I will know. And I will revisit the Tetrach. It was some things that I didn't quite know about the tank, and yes, I will revisit the Tetrach and some of the other tanks I had before that hasn't got a proper review with gameplay, so they will be revisited as well. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye.